We could be fancy and have like a remote or something.
Yeah. Check the website, see if it's up.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Okay. It is 6:31. I will call the meeting to order. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the December 10th and January 6th meeting.
January 5th.
January 5th. I had that wrong on that. I think it was 6th a year before. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Okay, I'll second it, and we'll do a roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. Next up, we have our standard reports, starting with the financial report for December.
Okay, so for December, we are finishing out the year. In our rainy day fund, we had 0 expenses, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $46,394.74 and a remaining approved budget of $42,105.26 and a cash balance of $43,160.04. In our township fund, we spent $9,399.05, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $244,863.38 and a remaining approved budget of $139.62 and a cash balance of $105,801.95. In our township assistance fund, we spent $6.36, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $9,533.31, a remaining approved budget of $15,466.69, and a cash balance of $123,186.34. In our recreation fund, we had no expenses. I checked several times, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $4,299.29, a remaining approved budget of $700.71, and cash balance of $13,198.76. We had no irregular deposits. We had our usual local income tax deposit of $1,491.25. Our Trust Indiana account earned $1,367.09. We received $15,032.25 in our fall property tax distribution. We received $1,034 in our fall CVET distribution and $911.56 in our fall license excise tax distribution.
Does the board have any questions?
No questions.
Do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. Next up, we have the trustees report.
Okay. As far as our 2026 budget order, Monroe County received its 2026 budget order today. Once again, we have one of the lowest tax rates in the county for 2026. It will be 1.5038, and the lowest any Monroe County township with a staffed fire station. So I believe we still are the 3rd lowest tax rate, and then the lowest of any township with a staffed fire station. An update on the status of the North Tunnel Road property that was discussed last meeting. After our last board meeting, I contacted Rachel Ozer, who had previously done title work for us. However, she was not taking on new work and referred me to Eric Decker, who has also done survey work for us in the past. I contacted Eric Decker, sent him the information I had on the parcel, and he replied stating he agreed with the auditor that this should be evaluated by a title company. I contacted John Bethel Title Company, and they are going to work in this project in between larger, higher priority projects. The cost of this research is $110 an hour, and at least at the start, we've agreed for no more than 10 hours. He estimated he would have a response for us at the end of January. And basically what they do is they start at the very formation of townships and parcels, and then they work their way forward with this parcel. So I'm excited to hear what they come up with.
So the whole history then.
I've also followed up with Monroe County Community Corporation to see if they have any updates, but as of today, I have not heard back. Any updates regarding the Monroe Fire Protection District? As of December, the Monroe County Commissioners have administratively added Bean Blossom Township to the Monroe Fire Protection District. This is the last township-owned fire department to join the district in Monroe County, as Polk and Salt Creek are contracted for services only. During the meeting, the commissioners hinted on adding these two other townships, in addition to potentially Richland this spring. However, if you follow a Facebook post and Ellettsville High Neighbor, they may switch over to doing fire territory discussions, but that's kind of on them. Just an update about our CVET allocation that was reported on in my financial report. So according to our December 2025 CVET distribution, some funding should have gone to our fire levy, which is no longer active. I sent out an email to the State Board of Accounts for instructions on next steps. I did hear back from them late noon. It was too late for me to make any changes. So the overall amount will not change, but the funds that were directed to Township Assistance and Recreation will go completely towards Township General Fund. As far as new legislation, House Bill 1315 and Senate Bill 270 are two proposals in the current legislative session to consolidate or dissolve townships, particularly rural townships. I have provided the ITA session letter, current versions of the bills, current fiscal impacts, and summaries of these bills to the board in advance. Senate Bill 270 is sponsored by a former township trustee and takes a moderate approach. It would consolidate low-performing townships with efficient townships, and those should all be in quotes, based on a point system using variables such as the number of township assistance applications received, the amount of township assistance provided, whether the township maintains a fire department, and the timeliness of required processes, including the annual report, budget, and monthly engagement reports, in addition to the total amount of budget. If adopted in its current form, Benton Township would not be included in this round, but would most likely be flagged for next year. For this bill, as a timeline, we would receive data from the state by next spring, and if we were considered a low-performing township, we would have next summer and fall to plan, and would be dissolved into another township effective January 1st, 2028. The Indiana Township Association supports this bill, and its next committee hearing is scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. I would encourage you to attend. They offer a live stream as well as recording options. House Bill 1315 is the more impactful of the two. The Indiana Township Association is calling this bill a serious and immediate threat. This bill reduces township government on the basis of population, so less than 6,700 residents, if the unit maintains or does not maintain a fire department, the ratio of township employee compensation as it relates to township assistance benefits distributed. Other criteria that I don't believe applies to Monroe County townships have to do with the amount of land that their residents and the amount of land and then the number of residents that overlap within municipality. In this bill, units would be forced to merge with a city or county instead of another townships, but townships who are already in the process of consolidating or merging would be exempted. By the way, I did forget that with Senate Bill 270, I said the timeliness of other essential reports. Benton Township would most likely narrowly avoid consolidation in the initial round under House Bill 1315. So the current language has a 200% ratio for compensation and assistance benefits, and we are at 196%. But this would most likely be flagged for the following year. The timeline for this bill is much more compressed, with the board and the trustee having to sign off on a consolidation plan no later than June 1st of 2026. According to the bill's fiscal analysis, This one would also take place at the same time, January 1st of 2028, but we would have to have a decision in writing and signed by June 1st. According to the bill's fiscal analysis, House Bill 1315 would affect approximately 2/3 of Indiana townships, and it is supported in testimony by the Indiana County Commissioners Association, the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. Representative Dave Hall, who represents Benton Township District 2, supported this bill and voted yes in the local government committee. The future of township government has been an ongoing topic in our meetings since last spring, particularly following Senate Bill Enact 1 and House Enrolled Act 1461. And between now and our next board meeting, I encourage you, the board, to begin considering what our preferred options might be if we are required to consolidate. Such questions might be, would we want to consolidate with the city of Bloomington, which we are not contiguous, which may disqualify us, or the county, why or why not? Or would we want to try to consolidate with another rural township, such as Washington and or Salt Creek, why or why not? Or would we want to consolidate with an urban township, which the only one we are contiguous with is Bloomington Township, why or why not? As with other significant issues, the board and trustee have encountered and addressed in the past, I anticipate these discussions will take place over multiple meetings and include a range of perspectives. However, I would like for us to be prepared should we need to take action and it be required by June 1st. And then on the electronic version of this document, I did give you the link to the committee hearing yesterday, in which you can hear about from the sponsors of this bill, the people that support this bill, and then the ITA also had someone speak on behalf as well. That was all that I have.
And you said that's tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Tomorrow at 10 a.m., yes, for Senate Bill 270. You guys want to talk about any of that right now? Or is this just kind of a...
I think I'd rather wait till the board is fully present. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. I was just gonna, thanks for doing those summaries. That was much easier to read than trying to read through this House bills.
For full disclaimer, I use AI.
Well, you know, so I appreciate you doing it still.
And I will say, as a disclaimer, these bills may change between now and our next board meeting, or now at the end of the session. So that's another reason why, you know, this is just very preliminary, but I'd hate for it to get passed at the end of April and then us have to turn around in May and make decisions.
When does this session end? When would these be finalized? Is there?
I feel like, oh, I did send that up to someone else today, so let me pull up the email. In a long session, or last year, it was April 27th. Let me see if I can pull up.
It's not that. I was just curious when they might know for sure what they were doing.
No, but I mean, I can send that schedule along, as they do have a schedule online.
Does the board have any questions regarding the trustees report?
No questions.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the trustees report?
Motion to approve the trustees report.
Seconded. Vote by roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. And finally, under the last report is the township assistance report.
On December 17th, I received a find help request for quote unquote everything. This person is currently unhoused, but last lived in Perry Township. I explained to them that unless they were planning on living in Benton Township or currently had a lease in Benton Township, they needed to call Perry Township instead. On December 23rd, I received a voicemail from a Washington Township resident asking for help, and they were referred to the appropriate trustee. On December 30th, I received a call while I was in the office regarding help with the water bill. They were right on the township boundary, and ultimately they were a Bloomington Township resident and were referred to that office. And lastly, on December 31st, I received a voicemail asking for help with quote unquote a bill, a voicemail was left for the person with directions on the 3 ways that they can apply for assistance. And I have not heard back from them.
Board have any questions?
No questions.
Do I have a motion to approve the township assistance report?
Motion to approve the township assistance report.
Seconded. Vote by roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. All right, we have no old board business. We have 2 items under new board business, starting with the 2026 investment policy.
Do you just want me to read it?
Please.
2026 investment policy. The Benton Township Board of Monroe County, Indiana is authorized to create an investment policy and review the policy each year after the first Monday and on or before the last day in January pursuant to Indiana Code 5-13-7-16 and Indiana Code 5-13-7-7. The investment policy must meet the following criteria. A, be in writing. B, be adopted at a public meeting. C, provide for investment of public funds with the approval of the investing officer. The trustee is the investing officer for Benton Township. Annual investment report. During the annual meeting, the investment officer shall make a written report to the investing officer's local board of finance, summarizing the township's investments during the previous calendar year. The report must contain the name of each financial institution, government agency, or instrumentality, or other person with whom the township invested money during the previous calendar year. 2026 Benton Township Investment Report. Trust Indiana. Benton Township has 4 active funds and 3 inactive funds that accrue daily compounding interest. The active funds are General Fund, Township Assistance Fund, Recreation Fund, and the Rainy Day Fund. The inactive funds are the Emergency Fire Loan Fund, Fire Fund, and Cumulative Fire Fund. The annual rate of investment for all funds as of January 12, 2026 year-to-date yield is 2.4521%. The December 31st, 2025 balance of funds at Trust Indiana is $225,578.44. Benton Township earned $17,460.33 in interest for the 2025 fiscal year. For budget year 2026, the investing officer shall continue to invest funds in the following manner. Continue to invest the majority of public funds into our money market account with Trust Indiana, a local government investment pool, which is authorized by Indiana Code 5-13-9-11 and is administered by the Indiana Treasurer of State. And if applicable, approved by the Township Board on date and signatures.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the 2026 investment policy?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. All in favor. We'll vote by roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. And finally, under new board business, we have the 2026 resolution on void checks and warrants.
Resolution of the Benton Township Board of Monroe County, Indiana concerning stale checks. The Township Board of Benton Township, Monroe County, Indiana, parentheses, the board, close parentheses, met at a duly called and authorized meeting of the board on the date set forth below, such meeting being called pursuant to notice stating the time, place, and purpose of the meeting received by all board members and published according to statute. And the following resolutions were made, seconded, and adopted by those present at the meeting, which constitute a majority of the board. Whereas pursuant to Indiana Code 5-11-10.5-2 and 3, all warrants or checks drawn upon township funds that are outstanding and unpaid for a period of 2 or more years as of the last day of December of each year are void. No individual, bank, trust company, building and loan association, or any other financial institution may honor, cash, or accept for payment or deposit any such warrant or check which may be presented for payment and which have been issued and outstanding for a period of 2 or more years as of the last day of December of any year. And whereas the trustee, as the township's fiscal officer, has assembled a list of all warrants and checks that have been outstanding for a period of 2 years as of December 31st of the preceding year as Exhibit A to this resolution. And whereas this list is presented to the township board, acting as the board of finance for the township, to acknowledge, and that upon approval, the fiscal officer will receive these voided checks and warrants back into the original funds that they were issued from. And now therefore be it resolved that the township trustee be and hereby is authorized and empowered to void each check or warrant identified here and receive these funds back to the original funds they were issued from. So for Exhibit A, we have a check to Warford Gas from April 11th, 2023 out of the Welfare Assistance Fund, probably fuel, I think 2E is, and that amount is $382.99. We also have a check to the Indiana Township Association paid on September 12th, 2023 from the Township General Fund and Training Subfund in the check amount of $250. Therefore, direct assistance will be credited $382.99 and the Township General Fund will be credited $250.
Board have any questions or comments?
No question.
Do I have a motion to approve the 2026 resolution on void checks and warrants?
Motion to approve the 2026 resolution on void checks and warrants.
Seconded. We'll vote by roll call. Dodds?
Aye.
Husk? Aye. Motion carries. All right. We have nobody for public comment. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. It is 6:53 p.m.
Second.
All right. Dodds?
Aye. Sorry.
Husk? Aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
I'm so thrown off on having to make a motion, so just second.
I just figured for adjournment, I would go ahead and make the motion.
Yeah.
It seems weird